Welcome to the Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Ko-fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Neil, Refracted Curvature, Brian's Logic, and I might as well list them off in Discord. We've got Bushel, Surf Daddy, The Truth Acknowledged, and Sergeant Hispanic, is it? Anyway, welcome one and all.
Hello.
Hello, good to be here. I've been motivated to do a show today on the basis that QE did a show yesterday, and I was so infuriated by the guy that was on there claiming to be a flatty that it's pushed me into having a show today. That and a comment from Refracted Curvature in one of the back chats that we have on Teams, formerly known as Skype, which is Master B, our main chat forum for this show. And in that chat, well, maybe you could tell the audience, John, if you're there. Or I will if you don't want to.
Well, it's just they try to make arguments about measurement, and they want to make it about people instead of about the facts and evidence, and it's frustrating at times.
Very. So to summarise what John's saying, we've got a situation where the subject matter is about Earth. Earth, right? The ground, the surface that we dwell atop. That's Earth. So what are the shills currently departing from Flat Earth talking about? Well, they're talking about leaving a group of people. The Flat Earth cult. No. Flat Earth. Those two words are not in any way synonymous with groups of people. Earth, that's the ground. Flatness, that's an aspect of its measurement. So when people say, I am fortunate to have left the cult of Flat Earth, it's a successful transition from the measurements of the surface of the Earth we dwell atop being flat into a group of idiots who've been brought to this subject through conspiracy theory. Numpties who talk garbage and don't know about Earth measurements. Those are the people who represent this subject. And I'm sick of it. It's irritating. Also quite clever, as Neil pointed out in the pre-show. Clever that there's been a transition from Earth being measured flat into people and their bullshit beliefs about Earth. And about Bigfoot. And about 9/11. And about all manner of other shite that idiots who call themselves flat earthers waffle on about incessantly. It's irritating. And I'm done with them. These dickheads who talk about Bigfoot and 9/11. You're idiots. We're flat earthers. We talk about Earth being measured flat. You talk about conspiracy nonsense. And it's frustrating. There you go, there's my little rant. Along with Brian, moving on, hopefully I can curtail my irritation to talk about what Brian had on his plate yesterday evening with a numpty claim to be flat earther, ignoring the flat geometry measurements for refraction.
Yeah. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, that was my lead up for you.
Okay. On QE Live last night, for those that didn't hear it, there was a claimed flat earther from the 24/7 Politics server came on. And He was promoting, whether he was aware of it or not aware of it, he was promoting 7 over and greater than 7 over 6R, what is known as standard/terrestrial refraction, which is baller nonsense. It doesn't exist. It's not refraction. It's in a single medium. Now, what he was presenting, or his argument in the past and last night, was what about Skunk Bay? But Skunk Bay effects and all that they are, they're just not refraction. Refraction is very clearly defined. It involves 2 mediums, and the incident, the angle change of light when it interacts with the interface between those 2 mediums, right? The surface, right? The boundary. We were trying to get across to him and to other people that what they're claiming as refraction, whether it be the ballers or they're pointing to Skunk Bay, is not refraction. None of it is refraction. Refraction is very clearly defined. What they're pointing to is like the flat earthers, as far as Skunk Bay goes, it is some kind of effects, but it's not refraction, right? It's that simple. It doesn't fit the definition. But what they're doing is they're focusing on Skunk Bay, and then they're referring to Andrew Thomas Young, right, from San Diego State University, and his work, and referring to 7 over and greater than 7 over 6R, and they don't even realize they're referring to that. They're talking about light bending, and they're talking about light bending through a density gradient within a single medium, which is a heap of nonsense that is in Andrew Thomas Young's paper, right? And it's just globe nonsense. It's all rubbish that involves a globe, right? The reason it exists, I may as well say it, the reason it exists is because the horizon is not where they need it to be. The Earth does not present itself as it would need to be for their claim of a geometric sphere of radius 3959 miles. So the callers need this horse manure, right, to mathematically, right, pull wizardry on the ignorant. That's what they do, right? It's not refraction. It's not anything. It's only them mathematically, the ballers, that is, mathematically trying to cover up for what they don't have to show, which is the geometry that would fit a globe. The geometry of the world fits. The only description you could give to that geometry is flat. It's the point, right?
Yeah, you never got there. Right. I'll just give the audience
an example. When I talk about terrestrial refraction, right, I'm not talking about a globe. I'm saying that sometimes No, yes, let me finish. Let me finish. No, I'm not.
No, you did
just let me finish.
Number one. 1 second, no, because you're going to waffle on with nonsense. You did not answer the question number one.
It just means the ground. It just means the ground. Terrestrial,
no, it doesn't.
Right? That just means the ground, doesn't it?
So what's 7 over 6R?
That's a straw man argument. Yeah, that's a begging the question argument. Why don't you let me respond?
Hey, Brian, want to try to be concise. You guys settle down.
Okay.
One at a time. DJ, what is the geometry
of the Earth? It's flat. It's flat plane.
No, that's not what he asked you. What's your basis? What's the geometrical basis of your claim?
What's my claim? What do you think my claim is?
You just said your claim. Don't play this fucking game with me, all right? Brian, ask him again.
Yeah.
This is not the first time Brian has asked. It's not the second time Brian's asked. This is the 4th time Brian has put this question to him. He'll put it again concisely, and I'll play it out so you can hear it, and then we'll end this clip.
Well, Huey, what is the origin geometry for terrestrial refraction, which is what you're referring to?
There you go.
No, I didn't say that it's terrestrial refraction, right? If you listen to No, it's not, right? If you let me
Yeah, bullshit. I didn't say terrestrial refraction. That's the argument. That's the discussion point. That's what's taking place. Disingenuous scum that you have to deal with on QE's show. Very, very irritating. Like, you're being asked a direct question. You'll answer it in regards to how Earth's measured. It's like, oh yeah, in regards to Earth, it's geometry that's flat. You're like, yeah, but we're in a discussion where there's 2 sides of an argument perceived to be taking place. So just saying that isn't satisfactory. But in the argument that's taking place between globe and flat, you're making a claim on behalf of the globers of refraction, What geometry does that part of that claim in the perceived argument take place? That's what's being asked. Now, why am I having to clarify this? It was done 4 times. It's not exactly subtle. But that's what we have to face. Numpty, bullshitting flat earthers that pretend to know what they're talking about and then deny the end crux of the argument, the bit that destroys the discussion, that points out to any audience member listening, there is no discussion here. If the geometry that's describing this claim to be get out for a baller is flat, then it's not a claim to be get out of anything. It's just a flat geometry describing refraction that doesn't take place in Skunk Bay's refraction. There's not 2 mediums.
That's not refraction, Nathan. So you shouldn't have cut me off there with the video. You should have let me. I was getting to that point. I was giving the background and the detail. You shouldn't have stopped. You shouldn't have cut me off there. That was rude, to be honest with you.
It's a recorded tape. I can't be rude to you. You recorded.
It's not refraction. Skunk Bay is not refraction. 7/6R is not refraction. None of that is refraction. It doesn't fit the definition.
Right. Yeah, they're not. They're hijacking this term, aren't they?
Yeah, the ballers hijack the term and make give it make up a mathematical thing that they have a mathematical thing that they call refraction. I'm not going back through all of it again because I tried to give a whole lead up to it. But now flat earthers are looking at Skunk Bay and referring to the same exact thing as the ballers are referring to, not realizing that the ballers, what they're referring to, is mathematical nonsense that's based off the geometry of the globe, which is why I asked him what geometry is this claimed refraction, the distant refraction, based off of. And he did 5 times it was, not 4, it was 5. And he did not want to answer because it's based off of a globe.
When you say based off a globe, you mean he's inferring that the refraction that's going to be appealed to is 7/6 of a radius value, which isn't refraction.
Yeah, but he doesn't realise that even what he's referring to, he's trying to place curved light on over a flat plane. Right? He's trying to use a flat Earth, but then talk about the bending of light, right, in a single medium, and giving Andrew Thomas Young as a subject matter expert as his reference. It's like Andrew Thomas Young is talking about the geometry of the globe. Right, this is made up. Not like if you look at Andrew Thomas Young's paper, he goes into that, if I remember correctly, after he speaks about all these measurements over a flat plane.
That's absolutely
correct. Then he comes in and says,
yeah. So when he details the actual refraction, i.e., through 2 mediums with Snell's law, in practical application, he makes it explicitly clear that all measurements are done on a flat plane.
Yeah, after his, and even like a lot of what he calls refraction even over a flat plane is not, right, from memory. But when he talks about the bending of light through a single medium, he's not talking about over a flat plane at that point. He's talking about 7 over and greater than 7/6R, standard/terrestrial refraction. He's as a blanket term, terrestrial refraction, which isn't refraction. It's made up nonsense. It's when someone presents a flat earth or a baller with the black swan photograph, they're referring to greater than 7/6R when they come up with refraction there. Never, like they might point, the ignorant might be pointing to the oil rigs, but what they don't, those who understand it, let's say Mick West or Rumpus or Ruhif or someone who one of them that would understand it, they're not referring to that. They're referring to why the horizon is where it is. That's what they're referring to, and that's 7 over and greater than 7/6R. That is what the flat earthers are now fighting for. They're fighting for the band-aid that the ballers need that allows them to say that our geometric horizon is only in the maths, which is a complete contradiction. Do you know what I mean? Because not only does it have the word horizon in there, but how can this physical claimed edge, this Earth's geometry, only exist in the maths? It's ridiculous. But that's what they're now fighting for.
Well, I mean, how can it only exist in the maths if it's a physical reality, is what you mean, right? It can only exist in the maths. It does only exist in the maths. Earth curve only exists in maths. But if it was a reality, you'd have the measurements of the geometric sphere edge that your 7/6R is based on. You haven't. It only exists in the maths. That is to say, there's no transposable reality from 7/6R into the nature of the world that we actually experience. We only experience and measure Earth flat. Shout out to Pablo.
Yeah.
It's great to see you back. Thank you for the super chat.
Well, another question I asked him last night. Now, QE wasn't so much of a fan of this question, but I had a good reason for asking it. Adam would have understood. I'm not saying QE didn't understand, he just didn't want me going there so much, but I asked it anyway. Is that what vector, right, is it in the downward or upward vector? And I have to use up and down for this instance. What vector is that bending in, right, in what they were talking about, in this bending of light? And he started trying to describe how the bend could be down or up, right? Not like just like a lot of the ballers do, because they don't understand the claim. It's always an upward bending. It just depends on how much upward bending. Because what's it bending up off of, Nathan? The surface of a sphere. That's the claim. That's why there's always a claim. The claim is that there's always at least 7/6R, right? And it increases from there. So it depends on how much upward bending, not how much up or down. There is no down. There's only how much upward bending at that point that they need to calculate for. And they do this by coming up with some BS distance to the horizon, which isn't geometric. Do you know what I mean? It's all a fraud. But flat earthers, just like him think, and ballers too, unfortunately, they think they can have an upward and downward bending. No, it's only how much upward bending. It's how much upwards off of the surface of the sphere has that light bent. That's their claim at any specific instance. Do you know what I mean? So they don't like. I have to say it. In fairness to the flat earthers, most of the ballers don't understand their own terrestrial refraction nonsense. Either. But at least it's their nonsense. We shouldn't be fighting for it. And the fact that those flat earthers over on the Discord servers fighting for it is ridiculous. And then when we try to correct them, they want to argue with us and call us names, literally. It's ridiculous.
I didn't get to that bit in QE's show. Did that actually happen yesterday then?
Which part? Where
you say they get to the point where they want to call us names?
Oh yeah, he called us names. He called us. He said we were all pussies and stuff like that.
Yeah, told me to shut up and have a one-on-one with me. I really need a one-on-one with this retard?
But why is the difference between this guy and a baller? What I mean by that is that this guy would want to spend 2 hours of your life wasting your time just like a baller.
Exactly. And let's stop saying this guy. His name is DJ. DJ from 24/7.
It doesn't matter. It's the same. There's loads of people like him, unfortunately, out there. Like, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, what's the difference between this guy and a baller? Because you'll spend 2 hours of your life going around in circles with this guy if you were to debate him. That's what will happen, right? Because he's not going to accept where he's wrong. He just wants to have an argument with you for 2 hours and waste your time for 2 hours, circle jerk you for 2 hours. Like, he wasn't able. The first straight question he was asked, he wouldn't answer. How can you have a debate with someone like that?
Well, you can't, but that's the process that we're involved in. That's my irritation off the back of John's comment. It seems like there's a concerted effort to make flat Earth about people arguing rather than measurement. And when there's a diversion away from the necessity for a spherical geometry that doesn't exist beyond maths, there's a silence from people claiming to be flat earthers. It makes no sense, does it?
No.
Now, I'm not suggesting we should draw any hasty conclusions from this, but by the same token, it is just a source of irritation for us when we're talking about the nature of Earth and it being measured flat. It's just a great source of disappointment or irritation, whatever you pick your poison.
we're not getting much support when we have people who are flat earthers who aren't willing to accept, critique of where they're wrong. You know what I mean? It's a human problem, isn't it? Not a flat versus baller problem. It's a human problem at this stage.
I think it's a context problem. People don't realise what the subject's about. Like, if you're going to argue about these things from the perspective of a ball on behalf of a glober that you've got the information from because you're empathetic to their cause, so what are you doing? Earth's measured flat. That's how we deal with it. Doesn't matter if it's refraction or celestial navigation or flight or building things. We're dealing with Earth as a flat plane. Why are we having this discussion with some guy called DJ? It's to keep us in a nice little corner having a discussion with a guy called DJ. That's why.
No, because you didn't have shows, so I went in there thinking that I'm a friendly, They're supposed to be flat earthers. And they try to corner me with refraction and pictures of observations that I'm supposed to give an answer for when I try to explain to them that means nothing because we measure Earth flat. They didn't want to hear it.
What about showing them Andrew Thomas Young's reference to all of the measurements for refraction being flat if they're referencing Skunk Bay and Thomas Young? Just say, here you go. This is Thomas Young's own words when detailing the measurements of refraction on a plane. Because that's the only way it can be measured.
No, they think QE is holding stuff back and he's only releasing certain information and he's holding back on others. They're claiming that QE's cherry picking.
So let me get it straight.
And it's a joke.
Their attitude is QE, a man, is holding back information. So it's about QE. No, Earth's measured flat. It's got sod all to do with quantum eraser in that regard. QE could die tomorrow and Earth would still be measured flat.
Yeah, but that's not even correct because they don't know what a freaking citation is. The guy's taking something from another paragraph on a different page.
No, I just need to throw out a caveat there. I don't think anything from memory that Andrew Thomas Young was referring to is refraction. Because if he's talking about mirage, sinking, towering, stooping, whichever, now even looming, they are effects, but they're not refraction. They've been incorrectly called refraction when they're not. And this is QE's point, right? And the point he's been making for years. Refraction is very clearly defined as two mediums. Whereas Andrew Thomas Young, even when he's talking about his actual real world measurements, which would probably be temperature measurements in the vertical and that, right? When he's talking about a flat Earth. Then when he goes to talk about a globe, he starts adding in what he's calling geometrical consideration. Right? In other words, he's fudging the numbers. But at no point is he actually, from memory, is he actually referring to refraction at all? Because he's actually just detailing mirage and stooping and stuff like that, sinking, which is not refraction. It needs to be called something different. Me and John had this conversation a long time back at this stage, didn't we, John? Where I don't where these things can't be called refraction because they don't meet the definition, and that's QE's point, and it's been his point for a long time. But he's been focusing on what the ballers have been claiming, whereas now the flat earthers are referring to Andrew Thomas Young. And then talking about the bending of light, right? At no point is Andrew Thomas Young referring to actual refraction. He's referring to something and calling it refraction when it's not. And the flat earthers are referring to him, and then referring to him talking about the bending of light, which is only mathematics based on the geometry of a globe that doesn't exist. And it's super frustrating. And what did he come back with? QE is hiding things. That's what they come back with.
Yeah. Constantly make it about the people. Like, we're talking about how we're measuring. Your suggestion of a spherical measurement is a nonsense. It doesn't have any practical application in reality. It only exists in the maths, end quote the rumpus. Yeah, it does. So what do we actually do with Earth? Well, we deal with it as a flat plane. Oh, QE's holding back information. What? Why is this suddenly about QE or you? Or this DJ guy?
Later on in the show, it was a good bit later on, I actually got frustrated. This is after the guy DJ had left him. because Kiwi was playing more of this audio from the Politics 24/7 server. And there was a couple of people talking, and there was a bit of conversation came up about FED and us in general. And one guy said that us denying what they're talking about, basically, us denying it makes us look stupid. It's like what he was actually referring to, without realizing it, is that us denying that 7/6 and greater than 7/6R is happening at Skunk Bay will make us look stupid.
7/6 of a radius derived from a geometric horizon that only exists in the maths.
Exactly. Because that's all that 7 over and greater than 7/6 is, right? What is it? It's so when we see the horizon behind those oil rigs, right, at God knows what distance away, they can give it an arbitrary distance because you can't determine how far away it is, and then say it's this distance away, and then do the mathematics, which I've done, and Adam showed me the correct way to do it. Thank you to Adam, right? To show and give a mathematical equation as to how much over 6 order is that day in that place for that person. It's Band-Aid, right, to cover up for the geometry that they have no measurements for because it doesn't exist. And now you have bad outcomes saying that we look stupid when we deny that that's happening at Skunk Bay. Or that we're denying that Skunk Bay is refraction, when it's not refraction, and that's not happening because that's mathematics based on the globe. Sorry, Nathan.
Well, I was just going to say, meanwhile, all of the distance measurements, the altitude measurements, everything about this in terms of the description is all flat, to argue that we've got 7/6R. We first describe linear, flat measurement distances, elevations off a flat plane. That's what we're doing.
Well, there's no globe without the latitude and longitude grid being hijacked. You can't. That's a two-dimensional grid. This measured over a flat plane, right? So you acquire that first. Then you can't navigate the globe without the Vincenti and the formulas. Vincenti, if you want to turn it into an oblate spheroid, and what's the other formula? John, you spoke about it with me many times. Haversine, yeah. If you want to treat it, so you have a choice. You could use the Vincenti and treat the Earth as an oblate spheroid, or you can use the Haversine and treat it as a perfect sphere. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like the Haversine, when did that turn up?
Well, you convert it though. It's a conversion. It's a tool for converting to sphericity.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah, it helps with the conversion from a flat map. Do you know what I mean? It's a joke. Like the whole thing is a joke, but it's what they do. But what's funny is that there's the Vincenti, which addresses an oblate spheroid, and then you have the Haversine, which addresses a total sphere or a perfect sphere. So you can choose whatever way you want this globe / oblate spheroid to be. It can be an oblate spheroid now and a globe later. It's a joke, right? But they require those things before they can even speak about anything. And then they can start making up 7 over and greater than 7/6R. So it's a joke. The first thing they require is the latitude and longitude grid. That's what they require. They have to hijack that first to make their radius.
Well, if it was a sphere, why would it be necessary to convert it to a sphere?
It wouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, the fact that we're doing a conversion to spherical from the flat maps is then met with the next kicking of the can down the road where they say, well, the maps themselves have come from a sphere. Like, oh, all right. And Brian's already covered this in terms of the latitude and longitude grid. But their maps are ultimately based on flat Earth measurements. Again, converted, projected, and then projected back to a flat map so that they can come up with the excuse that the projected map that's flat started life as a globe. No, it didn't. It started, that would be its genesis, with flat Earth measurements. Those flat Earth measurements then get converted into sphericity, and then those spherical coordinates get projected onto a flat map. Because that's how it can function. That is to say, the only way it will function as a latitude and longitude grid is planar. So it has to get converted back to a flat map. The grid is what we use. The globe is not. The fact that we've had this gerrymandering in between a flat measurement and a flat map that's actually used is just their incoherent get out of jail free card when you put any of this stuff to them.
Well, if you take any two opposing longitude lines and you take 90 degrees south on any of those two lines and they're opposing each other, like one directly meeting the other at the center, at the north center, you will have a straight line distance of 21,600 nautical miles. Now, that's the same amount of minutes of degree in a circle because of how it's measured and the fact they're using degrees. That's how it comes out as. That's why there's 90 north and 90 south for each. That is longitude line, right? Now, the thing is this. If you take that 21,600, let's just say 21,600, right, and you then decide to turn that into a circle because we say, well, we'll turn it into minutes of degree, not nautical miles, but same thing. It's just a nautical mile is just a straight line measurement that relates to a minute of degree of angular measurement in the sky, let's just say. So we then take that and then we get the radius of that and we then multiply that radius by the conversion between nautical and statute miles, and that gives us something close to 3959. Now we have a radius. But a radius of what? It's a radius. It's the radius of a circle. The average radius of all circles, the mean radius of all circles turned into what? Suddenly that's your real world geometry. And that's how they that's how they hijack it.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple.
So step 1, measure an angle off a flat Earth. Step 2, get the minimums. So you've got the outside extremity and a radius value. Step 3, turn those angles into a dome around you, a dome of vision, and call that the globe at radius 3959 with your conversion that you described with statute. So it's a dance.
We have to stop them at step 1. That has been my mission.
Step 1, measure angles off a flat plane.
Then it's game over. I don't want to hear anything else, and that's what I was trying to get across to those knuckleheads.
Yeah, Neil's absolutely spot on. Now, while I'm not decrying Brian's exemplary understanding of the opponent's position in this regard, the ultimate position is, what's step 1? The measurement of Earth in this regard is a flat Earth elevation angle measurement. To Polaris, for the minimum that you'll turn into your radial value at 3959, Earth's measured flat for your globe.
Yeah, they needed to have statute miles and then a nautical mile that they derived using statute miles in a straight horizontal line before they could do all this mathematical nonsense.
Precisely.
So they needed the horizontal. They needed the Earth to be flat to make the globe, and then once they've made it, because the Earth doesn't present itself as a globe geometrically and measure as a globe geometrically, they then need to make up a load of rubbish that they call terrestrial refraction, that isn't refraction, to tell you why the horizon is behind the oil rigs in the Black Swan photograph.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to quote John in this regard. I don't know if he's still here. Yes, he is. You guys need a flat Earth more than we do.
It's true.
One of the truest statements ever told in this arena. Ever said, sorry.
Yeah. If you're going to start asserting that you've got the key to understanding the world and its cosmology, then you're going to need to measure a flat plane to achieve that if you want to push a ball faith. It will require a flat plane be measured in order for you to achieve that. In other words, to quote refracted curvature, you guys need a flat plane more than we do. And it's just that
we
simple.
Don't make any claims. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, we don't make any claims about the cosmology or anything like that. You know, we're stating the measurements and stopping, you know, because there's no need to move past that. All of their claims require our measurements. to move forward. So yeah, they need it more than we do.
But what is ultimately required is us to just be discussing it. Us discussing this with an opponent makes it seem like there's an argument. Now, what you've just said in terms of how the bull cosmology comes to fruition is a matter of fact. They will require a flat Earth be measured. So why are we even having this discussion? So that there can be a perception of a discussion to have. That's the only reason we're talking to these people.
Well, that was part of the reason why when I was speaking to Mitchell from Australia, back in the very end of 2022, when we decided we're not debating these people anymore unless it's something really worthwhile or we're getting paid our fees, because all it is being brought around in a circle, basically keeping alive a load of people, keeping alive the debate when there isn't a debate. And they think about the amount of extra information we have now and our understanding now, even from back then. But even back then, at the end of 2022, me and Mitchell couldn't see any reason to continue debating these people, right, without it being worth our while. Because it's not worth our while. You're not helping you out, you're helping them out. You're helping you're giving the impression that there's this conversation to be had, a debate to be had, when there isn't. It's just a group of people who do not want to accept that they require measuring the Earth as a flat plane to start making any spherical claims. And they want to jump straight past that and go straight to the spherical claims and not address the fact that you have to measure the Earth with horizontals and verticals to the whole Earth before you can even do that. You know, or maybe just how, well, you're going to need verticals to the celestial bodies, but you know what I mean? The point is that they want to, never mind that part there, we'll just go straight into talking about the globe. It's like, what globe? There isn't one. This is the thing. It seems to me that a lot of flat earthers just don't want to accept either, that there just isn't a globe.
Well,
we want to have conversations.
Well, you summarised it better earlier, so when you were quoting the rumpus. The globe only exists in mathematics. That's where it resides. In reality, we're measuring a flat plane, but you can convert those flat plane measurements mathematically into this belief of a sphere beneath your feet. Now, that belief requires a violation of the baseline that's measured to create it. The globe, that is. Ergo, the globe only exists in maths. It's not a physical reality. The physical reality is a flat plane that we measure, always, without exception.
Well, if hypothetically, let's just say the Earth was a globe and we did measure it as a sphere of radius 3959 miles, we could then mathematically, right, show it and display it mathematically as flat up to a point. Up to a point, there's going to be problems. Right, that is possible, but that's not the case. The case is the invert of that. It's that we measure it as, the only way you can describe the measurements, allow us to describe it as flat. That's what it is, right? It's then mathematically turned into a globe.
The other thing
but that doesn't make it a globe no more than the invert of that would make it flat. Do you know what I mean? It's measured to be what it is, and it's not measured to be a globe. Sorry.
I'm actually going to go on to something else that you covered. It was just earlier in QE's show. So right at the start, I'll say in the start, like 20 minutes after the waffle, you were asked to explain your position that was, it's not original. It's been done prior by Anthony Riley. So shout out to Anthony Riley, Sleeping Warrior. And when he described it, he called it the double dip. And I don't know if that terminology is going to trigger your memory of what was discussed in the opening of QE. But yes. You were discussing...
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll give you a brief summary of it, and then you can take back over. So, in the opener of QE's show, Brian is discussing how, in an example of measurement assuming Earth is a sphere, you can plug in the mathematics for the distance to the geometric horizon. Alternatively, in that 1v1 globe versus flat scenario, you can have the flatty explain the perspective measurements of angular resolution at the distance of 3 miles with the observer on the deck. But you can't have both. It can only be one or the other. Ergo, if perspective is real, then the globe is bunk.
Exactly. When it comes down to reality, the reason that boat is disappearing for the person with the rise at the waterline, the 6 foot high boat is disappearing at 3 miles distance, is either our curve or angular size change perspective. It can't be both, because if it was both, it would disappear prior to that. But we know it'll take that amount of distance for it to disappear for the average human eyesight, right? So that means if perspective exists, our curve does not. It's literally that simple. And perspective does exist, so our curve does not.
Yeah, they've hijacked it.
Yeah.
They've hijacked perspective. That's the reason for the title for the Earth curve calculator that was dubbed in 2019 or whatever it was. The begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. Let's focus on the last little bit. The perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. How do they do it? Well, they take a view that's perspective based in photographs that are clearly perspective based, and then transpose them into an orthographic mathematics that excludes perspective, so it can hijack the effect and call it Earth curve. That's how it's done. Meanwhile, the mathematics of the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve, maths, requires a surface level. That's a flat Earth. It also requires axiomatically that flat Earth surface level cannot and will not bend for a parallel eye level to perform the maths with. Earth is flat in Earth curve maths, where they take a perspective observation and call it the effects of Earth curve.
Well, just for a little bit of history for the audience, just so I can show I'm not trying to steal data. Anthony Riley was, from memory, the first person to point that out in the way that he did. Maybe not the first person to notice it, but the first person to publicly, let's just say, lay it out together and point it out. Now, Ranty has also done that, and Brandon. Now, probably around the same time on Brandon's show, but Ranty and Brandon have done that. Right? So Ranty was actually responsible for that too. Now, he would have probably, because of being in contact with Anthony Riley, he would have been aware of that from Anthony, right? Originally, maybe, or something. I don't know. Right? But either way, Anthony Riley was the first that laid it out publicly. Then I could be wrong, but that's from memory. And so has Randy and Brandon, right? So there could be more, right? Maybe Rob Skiba might have done it as well, from memory, possibly as well, right?
I don't think so.
Now, I can't remember, but I'm just saying there could be others. I'm not saying that I don't want to leave people out if I can't remember. Now, the difference between what they did and what I did, right, is that I formulated it into an algorithm. Now, QE's taken it and done it his own way since, right? So it basically took what I did and formulated it. Maybe he did it a little bit more sharply because he's good at that. But I formulated it into an argument. The same way as BLMSB, Taboo Conspiracy, and also me, separately, were focusing on the horizon before the Black Swan, several years before Black Swan came out, and where the horizon was. But when the Black Swan came out, QE took that and formulated it into an argument. And that's the thing. That's when it's something that becomes potent. It's when you can take this thing that is devastating to the opposition and then formulate it into an argument. Like QE has shown that to so many people, including me, that you must formulate these things into correct arguments. And once you do that, that's what makes it devastating. That's why, like, when you formulate that, the angular size thing, the perspective versus our curve thing, into that argument for anyone, and then anyone with enough, you don't need a whole lot of savvy or education to be able to research that online for yourself and see that what's said is true. And, that alone kills it, completely.
Yeah, I completely agree. Once you understand the difference between Earth curve geometry, regardless of if you have an appreciation of how Earth will be measured flat for that Earth curve geometry in the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, versus how reality dictates things will vanish from view. I mean, this is at its heart, a glorified reversal of the burden. Because we have no responsibility to describe why things disappear into the distance at the horizon. That is not our burden. Now, they say it's because of Earth curve, and we reactively have to undo their assertions that hijack perspective. But once that's done, why does the boat disappear? I don't care. It's not my bleeding claim. You said it was because Earth curve. It isn't. We have perspective. And in order for you to assert that it's Earth curve, you need to measure Earth flat at surface level. And what's that surface level can bend? No, it can't, or it won't be parallel with eye level. And it's there, labelled in your maths, eye level. Not understand what level means? It's labelled and parallel with the surface in your maths. So you will be measuring Earth flat in order to achieve these begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve mathematics. But ultimately, once you appreciate that you can't have both perspective and Earth curve that only exists in the maths, you appreciate that there can only be one reality, the perspective-based reality that we actually measure. Also on a flat Earth, right, conspiracy cats? Yeah, I'll give you a flat Earth for that perspective. Yeah, you'll have to. That's how it gets measured.
Well, another thing that came up last night on QEs is that as part of the video that was playing from 24/7 Politics 24/7 Discord, there was someone talking, I think it was the guy DJ again, was speaking about how it's stupid of us not to address the refraction going on at Skunk Bay or some whatever nonsense he was saying, right? Because we need to be able to explain these observations. Like, what? Right? So this told me that either this guy was total fraud or he is constantly being duped by reversal of the burden of proof fallacies. Because how many times, Nathan, has somebody on the board side came to you and says, explain this observation? It's like, it's not my job to explain that. You have this observation, you make your claim about it, then I'll assess your claim. It's not up to me to explain something for you. But unfortunately, I have to say, for the first few years, we literally had to accept burden of the proof reversals, because we had to start being able to explain these things to make any argument. Because if we didn't do something and start saying, like even Ranty, I'll even say, even when he had to point out that no, what you're calling our curve was actually just inferior mirage, because they were calling it our curve, inferior mirage, our curve, up until mid-2016, right? Up until that point, they were calling it our curve. So until that, we explained what it was that they were calling our curve, and we showed it to not be our curve. Until then, it was our curve. So they put you in a position where you have to sometimes actually address their bullshit. Sorry for the language. You have to address their
I kind of agree, and I kind of don't. I mean, it's only with hindsight that you can say, no, if we appreciated from day one how they will utilise measurements of a flat Earth to fulfil their claim, we'd have gone there straight away. But like everybody, you, me, or anybody else, we're entering into this subject at a disadvantage. We're entering into the subject with a already established globe faith that we didn't even know we had. So you and I, in this discussion, are, past tense in 2015, relinquishing an existing belief. Now, that's hard enough in itself. It's like somebody trying to leave the Scientology cult while simultaneously having to learn why Xenu isn't real. That's what we were left with. We were left in a position where we want to leave the cult of globe faith based on flat Earth measurements, but we don't know how to. There's no counselling. There's no support. There's just ridicule. Because the majority of the Western world believes that. Therefore, the fact that it's measured flat comes later. You can only have the hindsight to say, nah, if we knew how to phrase it from day one, we'd have never had to look into their bullshit arguments about how Earth's a sphere. There'd have been no need. We'd have gone straight to the flat Earth measurements in every single respect. We didn't, and you're right. In order to progress to this stage, we had to undo the globe Earth arguments.
Well, I think it's a case of sobering up. Like, I instantly was happy to sober up. You know, I sobered up maybe in the same as yourself, because we both sobered up from globe, right, really fast. Like for me, it happened in seconds. Now, obviously, it was a progression before that in my life, but the same for you. But it happened fast. So it's like as if you were drunk and someone threw you into cold water and you just stood up and you're suddenly sober or something like that, right? For a lot of other people, it is and has been a more slow progress. But it's like they don't want to sober up. You have to face the hangover. You have to face the hangover to get over it, and then you're clear-minded. You're not poisoned anymore with this globe now.
I love it. This is a great analogy. You've just got a globe Earth hangover. Because that works. Just the terminology, right? Hangover is so appropriate. The poison of the globe, you now hung over from that experience, from that poison. It's still coursing through your veins. You've still got the headache. I love it. That's a great analogy. Hangover.
Yeah, because you can't think straight, can you? If you're not thinking straight when you're thinking globe, because you're not addressing reality the same way as if you're drunk, you're not in reality. I mean, it's reality to you at the time, but to someone else, you're just a drunk one. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you sober up and see the world for what it is, you know what I mean? You relinquish that heliocentrism. You relinquish that globe that you thought was real and you thought was great while you're under its influence. Basically, isn't it?
But then you've got to become a fallacy ninja, because the opponent wants you to be taking part in a discussion about this. They don't want you to say, yeah, well, I understand how Earth's measured flat. They want you to understand that Earth's measured flat and how that flat Earth measurement can be utilised to create a globe, so we can argue about how that globe works. But the only way they get to that point is by, in this instance, reversing the burden. A fallacy. So suddenly you've got to become a fallacy ninja to stop a opponent that shouldn't really exist dragging you back to the bar and pouring shots down your mouth.
Why are you guys causing division? I don't get it. You still haven't addressed 69 miles per degree times 60.
That's not my
vision of what?
Earth being measured flat isn't about people and them being divided. It's about how Earth gets measured. Who cares if we're all divided? I haven't finished talking, Tora. I haven't finished talking. I haven't finished talking. Don't talk through me, insubordinate twat. It's not about people. I don't care if you think we're divided, you stupid moron. I don't give a toss about you. Earth is measured flat. Do you think I give a toss that you see this in a certain way when it comes to the people and the groups? Have you not been listening for the last hour?
He's too stupid to listen.
Yeah, I have been. Yeah. So do you think pi equals 2?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
What does pi... Sorry, what does pi have to do with how Earth gets measured?
Yeah, 69 times 60. Yeah, that would be 6,210.
Sorry, 60 what?
And then if
69 times 60 what? What are you talking about? Degrees?
69 times 90. I'm sorry, 90 degrees. Yeah.
Degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are flat. Yeah, those are, shut your mouth. Those are flat Earth measurements, aren't they?
Yeah, which make...
So shut your stupid mouth, you stupid retard who just opened with this being about groups. You're asking me how we convert a flat Earth measurement. So it's measured flat then?
I agree, yeah.
Yes, so there's no discussion to have further, is there? Earth is measured flat.
So yeah, 60.
Yeah, so shut your dumbass mouth, sit the fuck down, put yourself on perma-mute, and stop talking about it like it's fucking groups. It isn't. Your opener was to ask me about pi when relating it to the flat Earth measurement that you didn't fucking acknowledge. Earth's measured flat. That's the end of this discussion.
I agree.
So shut the fuck up, sit down and stop babbling on about groups, you unbelievable spastic.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Yes, so shut the fuck up! What part of that don't you understand, you retard? It's not about groups. Your opener was to describe a measurement of Earth. It was flat. That's the end of this fucking discussion. You want to make it about how we're pouring scorn on groups. I ain't gonna fuck about any of you tossers. Earth's measured flat, whether or not you wankers want to make it about how we're dividing groups. I couldn't give a fuck. Do you understand?
Yeah, I got it. I'm just wondering.
Now sit down and shut up! I don't give a fuck what you're wondering, you stupid retard. You've opened by telling me it's about groups and how we're dividing them. I'm not dividing fucking anything. I'm talking about how Earth gets measured flat, and so are you!
Why do you just come in here with this and push his buttons and get him swearing up and down? Who gives a crap about your 69 degrees? Shove it up your ass.
After we measure Earth flat. He's asking us about what we do after measuring Earth flat. So we measure Earth flat and he wants us to describe what we do after. I couldn't give a shit. I'm not a cartographer. I don't care. After we measure Earth flat, I couldn't give a shit what we do with those flat Earth measurements. It's measured flat.
Well, yeah, 69.
Yes, so sit down and shut up.
1 hour.
So shut up. So shut your dumb mouth. There's no fucking argument to be had with me. We're not dividing any fucking groups. We are describing the nature of reality with flat Earth measurements that you agree with. So there's nothing to talk about with you dumbass. You opened by suggesting we were dividing groups. Now, I'm not even going to fucking ask what groups. I don't care.
Okay, no problem. How
Good.
are you?
Now sit down and shut up, you stupid twat.
Well then, how?
Shut up!
Pi equaling 2.
Don't give a fuck. We measured Earth flat. Do you not understand? You just want to babble on the same shite that I've just told you to stop talking about? What a wanker. Now he's talking through me. I've just told you to shut the fuck up based on the fact you've bought us a flat Earth measurement and then asked us how that translates to pi. I couldn't give a fuck. It's got nothing to do with groups being divided and everything to do with the fact everyone will measure Earth flat with these elevation angles. That's the end of this discussion. There's no more finger pointing. I'm not going to be told off for dividing groups. It's not about groups. You're not saying I understand. It's got nothing to do with pi after we measure Earth flat, because after we measure Earth flat, there's nothing more to discuss.
Okay, who brought the black swan into the picture? Who brought that?
What, 5 years ago? It's 2025. You've come here talking about groups being divided. I've torn a strip off your dumb spastic ass because you opened by asking us about a measurement of Earth being flat and how that would translate to pi after opening with us dividing groups, you total scumbag. Now, I don't know what groups you're talking about, and if I have divided them, I don't care!
No, I know. You don't care. You can't make sense of pi equaling 2. I get it.
No. I make sense of Earth being measured flat with the elevation angles you detailed. You agreed, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, so shut the fuck up, you stupid retard! What part of that don't you understand? I don't give a fuck about pi. We measure Earth flat with elevation angles. There's no further discussion. Once Earth gets measured, that's it. I don't care what you do with it.
Like all of Earth?
Yeah, like all of Earth is measured with those degrees that you mentioned, you stupid spastic.
Like the water part, too?
Yeah, all of Earth's measured with those angles, spastic. Any response?
Yeah.
Yeah, so sit down and shut the fuck up!
Oh, I thought you asked me for a response.
No, I don't need anything from you, stupid twat. I already know Earth's measured flat. I don't give a fuck what part of a group you're from. I don't care if you perceive me to have divided your stupid, retarded group. We still measure Earth flat. You fucking know it, but you choose to come here and suggest that I'm dividing a group, or that I don't know how to convert a flat Earth measurement into pi. I don't care.
Okay, yeah, I live in a different country than you, so
No, you don't live in a different time period to me. You live in the same time period as me. You're just a spastic talking shite now. that your response? We measure Earth flat and you want me to argue with you about how we deal with those flat Earth measurements we've made that we both agree on? But you say you live in a different time period. Non sequitur retard rebuttal from a spastic.
I would say you are...
I don't give a shit what you would say. We measure Earth flat. You measure Earth flat. You've come here to cause trouble, to suggest that I'm dividing a group. No, I'm not.
Are you suggesting that I'm dividing?
I don't give a shit what you're doing. You're an inconsequential nothing to me.
Yeah, except 69...
No, not since 69. I'm going to latch on to this angle and stutter around the fact that the 69 degrees is measured off a flat Earth. Proving Earth is flat!
Yeah, with pi.
Yeah, so shut up.
Nathan, calm down. Right, just relax a bit. Leave him make his claim.
He said, we don't know how to convert pi from the angles measured off a flat plane. I heard him.
No, leave him make it. I don't think that. Leave him make the claim he's making. Leave him expose himself.
Yeah, if the circumference of the equator is 24,901 miles, and then you measure 69 miles per degree to like a star or Polaris, you have 6,210 mile radius with a circumference of 24,901. You're going to need to make pi equal 2 to make sense of that.
Why? And have you verified that the equator is over just under 25,000 miles?
It's just a given. It's a priori.
Oh, sorry. Why is that? Why is it just accepted?
Okay,
sorry, why?
No, it's okay, Nathan. 1 second. Given by who? Where did that come from? That's size.
By God. By God.
No,
God didn't give you a radius value. This guy's a disingenuous scumbag.
Not by God.
No, God didn't give you the radius value. You lying scumbag. Why am I being talked through? No, he didn't.
Brian, do you agree that 69...
Sorry, did you hear me? No, God didn't give you the radius, you stupid spastic.
Yeah, where did the circumference come from that you're claiming? 24,900 miles. Where did that come from?
Not God, disingenuous scum. Not God.
I'll give it to you right now. When you watch the sun travel right around the equator, you got 15 degrees
No. Where do we
per
get the
hour.
equator?
Each one of those degrees
Where do we get the
is
equator?
69
He's
miles.
not listening. He's just yammering nonsense. Where do we get the equator? Where's that measurement come from?
Yeah, the size of the equator, yeah.
It comes from the sun.
Yeah, how? From the sun? Do you want to elaborate a little bit? Maybe tell us how it gets fucking measured?
Yeah, so you have the sun. Basically, it travels through the tropics.
How's it get measured?
And on March
you don't need to
21st
detail that. How's it measured?
I'm telling you right now.
No, you're not. You're telling us how the sun moves. That's not telling us how it measures, you stupid, retarded idiot. No, when I say, how's it measured, you saying, well, the sun moves in this... No, that's not telling me how you measure it. Do you not understand, you stupid retard?
Yeah. 15 degrees per...
So that would be a flat Earth measurement of an angle off a flat surface then, would it, retard? Yeah, it absolutely would. So we're going to be measuring a flat Earth for this then.
Yeah, so you guys disagree that there's...
I didn't disagree. I said, so we're going to be measuring a flat Earth for this. You didn't confirm.
So you don't think the sun travels...
I didn't ask if you think I don't understand something. I said, so we measure a flat Earth with angles then. Third time.
Yeah, with pi equaling...
Yeah, with angles, not with pi. No, we don't measure with pi. We measure angles. Don't we? Yeah, we do, yeah. So that's the end of this discussion, Tory, you stupid retard. We're going to be measuring Earth flat. It doesn't mean that it's not flat because pi doesn't equal 2, you fucking retard.
Yeah, and the size of the...
That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking...
Yeah, it is what you're saying. That's precisely what you said. It's recorded. We're live streaming, you fucking retard. We heard you.
Well, real quick.
No, not real quick. Fuck off. Go fuck yourself, spastic.
Real quick.
Real quick, go fuck yourself. You hear? You're projecting. You're saying that we're dividing groups. That's what you're doing. That's what you're here to do. That's what you're doing.
Okay, I'm the dividing one.
Yeah.
Where he's going.
You had so many issues.
I know where... Nathan, I think I know what's wrong with this guy. When he's talking about the sun doing 15 degrees per hour, and this is somehow a measurement of the equator, he thinks that those 21,600 minutes of degree, right, are all nautical miles, and they translate back to statute miles, which would make the equator 24,900 miles or close on that, right, a bit under that. No. Nautical to statute miles is only in a straight line. The conversion is a straight line conversion. It doesn't work at the equator. You don't know what you're talking about.
You don't think the sun travels?
That is not how the equator was claimed to be 24,900 miles. You have that wrong as well.
Why are you trying to interrupt?
You don't think this...
1 second. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're coming in here as if you have some kind of gotcha. You are the typical flat-out idiot. That's what you are.
It's not a gotcha. It's the sun travels in a straight line on the equator.
Yeah, we heard you.
Not according to you. Not according to you. According to you, it goes at 15 degrees per hour.
That's
that would be the
travel straight. It's Nathan here.
How do you about an angular rate? Right, you're talking about an angular rate in a circle. That's what you described.
Talking about speed. This is degrees over hour.
You can't give the sun a speed. You're talking about the equator, which is a circle. Right, you were asked for how
that's a distance over time.
You were asked for how is it? Where did you get this 20? You said I said where did you get the 24,900 miles? You just said it's a given. That's what you said.
No, he said God.
No, he said God
afterwards. Yeah, he said no. He said
you don't think it's a given?
Yeah, this guy's a wanker. I'm done talking with him. This guy's a wanker.
Nathan, are you there? Can you hear me?
You guys are all interrupting each other. I can't even.
Nathan, let me go with him. Just me and him for a minute. Right. Now, are you claiming the equator as a circle? Yes or no?
Nope, I'm not. I don't know that.
Right. The equator. You know what the equator is? It's a circle.
He's retarded. He doesn't know what the equator is. He's saying he doesn't know that. Well, then you're stupid.
I don't know if it's a circle or if it's a straight line. I believe that the sun travels in a straight line.
I don't care. We're done with this idiot. I don't want to hear his beliefs anymore, Brian. I'm done with him. Brian, I don't want to hear his beliefs. I don't care.
Yeah, he's bullshitting. Yeah, that's it. Get rid of him. Yeah.
Well, I could solve this real quick. If your calculation disagrees with measurement, your calculation is wrong.
That's correct.
Hold on. Brian, can you tell us what's wrong with this guy?
Dr. Brian, give us your diagnosis.
I'll tell you what's wrong with him. He thinks he knows things that he doesn't. He thinks he has gotchas that he doesn't have because he doesn't understand the things that he thinks he's getting a gotcha with.
Exactly, right. Brian. You hit it right in the head. That's why his name is Torah for you.
Well,
He'll put the law on you all day long.
The second I heard him expressing his beliefs here, he got server muted. I couldn't give two shits about Torah's beliefs when we've got measurements of Earth's surface flat. That's the end of this discussion. It's the title of the show. Him asking us what we'll do with those flat Earth measurements to prove something either way after the fact. The fact being we measure Earth flat. For him to then go on to express his beliefs in the matter, I couldn't give a shit. That's why he's been removed. Nobody cares about your beliefs, Torah, dickhead.
He came in here defending the land. Listen, he came in here defending the Land of Misfit Toys 1.0. He came in on my show yesterday because in the back, he's always listening in the background. He popped right on in because he wants to do a Nancy and compare the division between the Land of Misfit Toys 1.0 and the Land of Misfit Toys 2.0.
What
Very
division?
simple.
I don't know what you're talking about. Division between Land of Misfit Toys 1.0 and... What the hell are you on about?
Earth Awakenings and 24/7 Discord. And you know what? I'm going to make this separation. We stand alone over here.
He's from the Land of Misfit Toys 1.0. That's Earth Awakenings. And I labeled Politics 24/7 the Land of Misfit Toys 2.0.
I see.
Tora popped on my show yesterday. Didn't you hear it?
I'm only up to the hour and 20-minute mark.
No. I don't know when he came in. It was pretty early.
Anyway, just
before I was able to jump on here.
Go ahead, Limitless.
How you doing, Nathan? It's been, 8 years since we talked?
Yeah, easily. Good to hear from you. Ronnie, right?
Oh, glad you're back. How you feeling?
Terrible. If I'm honest, I thought I was dying. So I'm not too great.
Oh, it's good to hear you're back in full spirit. Hi to everyone on the panel. Nice to meet you all. It's good to be here and hear everybody discussing, information and moving forward with thought.
You like the discussion so far?
I like your sense of humor.
Yeah, I've heard these guys talking about the degrees and the angles and dividing pi and all this other stuff, and I've listened to all the different arguments, and I agree with what you guys are saying here, that Earth is definitely measured flat. Obviously, all the properties and mechanics of our reality show that the Earth is a fixed stationary plane. But we can move forward. I'm excited to see this group over here. You guys are constantly, now we don't agree on everything, right? I believe we're in a virtual reality, right? But we are moving forward.
No.
Grateful that the TFE's done. What do you guys think of that?
We don't care about beliefs here.
Yeah,
Let's get that right out of the way.
Yeah, I'm sure he got that from the last guy. Carry on.
Yeah, I could hear. Well, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm just looking forward to see what you guys. So the book, I'm waiting for the book. We're excited. Jason of Awake Souls and I we're going to get it. We're going to read it. How's that coming along?
Very well. Unfortunately, the stenographer's computer was stolen, so that might put a slight dampener on things. But hopefully, we've got backups of everything.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm always looking forward to, people pushing the boundaries with the content. Like I said, I'm grateful that the TFE thing's over, and I'm waiting for Fight for the Fat Earth. And is his name Ryan? Does anyone know Michael Toon? That's not his name. He's got some fake name. We can't wait. We are going to go into a debate, and we're going to destroy each and every one of their 12 observations. And after that, we're going to go into a debate about reality and we want Craig and specific. I think they doxed him, but I don't trust the robot polisher guy's docs because he's a shill, right? So does anyone know Michael Toon's real name?
What are you debating?
Who cares? I mean, no offense to you if you want to know his name.
I want his name, Nathan.
Why? Who cares? He's just some guy. Do you really care?
Go ahead, Brian.
I just want to know, before Brian, right, do you actually care? Or do you just think you care about who this guy is? Because he's just some guy.
Oh, I care. Absolutely. I want his name, his face. I want him to be remembered for everything that he's done.
Why?
Exactly. Why? Who cares?
But he will be, whether you do it or not. He'll be remembered. He won't be forgotten no matter what. But what I'd like to know is, why are you wasting your time debating Fight the Flat Earth and the MC thing? Why are you wasting your time looking for that debate, if you understand what I mean? What's that going to achieve?
They've had so much time to go around, mock, ridicule, lie. All they do is misrepresent things and use gotcha tricks with, I call them mathemagic. So you can do card tricks with cards, right? You can stack decks. You can do all these different illusionary things. And I'm looking forward to exposing every single one of them that they've done.
What you're calling gotchas are retard gotchas. They're morons. Why even deal with them? And back to Neil's point, what are you debating?
So the first debate's going to be, it's a 3-part structured debate that we've challenged them on. First one is going to be, we're going to debunk all 12 of their observations.
You're going to debunk observations. Is that
well, so the final experiment did 12 quote unquote experiments that weren't. You guys know that. You guys ripped it to shreds.
Relax,
right?
and let Kiwi talk.
Is it possible to debate objective topics?
No.
Is it efficacious? Is there any efficacy in debating subjective topics, or I'm sorry, objective topics. Does it make sense?
I mean, everybody can. Again, all that it is that we are going to enjoy.
Answer the question. Is it sequitur to debate objective topics? Does it follow?
It depends on the topic, really.
No, it doesn't depend on anything.
We're getting far off of the actual point that we're discussing here. Is there
to debate objective topics, sir? Non sequitur doesn't follow. Only topics available.
Explain further, please. Explain more. What are you trying to get at? What's your end punchline?
To debate is in.
So it's the only thing worth debating about. Absolutely, because everything else that's not objective, everybody already knows. Like the sky is blue and the grass is green and the trees are trees. What are you talking about?
I'm not listening. There's no point of contention.
Should we debate subjective topics? Is that what you're questioning me on? I came in to talk to Nathan and to let you guys know what our plan is as a group.
You don't debate whether water boils at a certain degree or heat causes water to boil. There is no debate. What about friggin' chamomile tea or tree bark? How many debates have you heard about tree bark? Get it?
Yeah,
probably not.
I'm not interested in tree bark.
Oh my God!
The question on the table,
like I said,
hold on. The question is, what will be debated, given that it's objectively, provably flat? How can you debate? Is the question.
Oh, that's the sort of better way to put it. So they've supposedly put out 12 things that prove the Earth is a spinning sphere, right? And we have 12 absolute debunks of that. And we're going to go through it, and they're going to have their chance to say, no, it actually does. And we're going to say, no, this is what you've shown.
How can they put out observations that prove the Earth is a sphere when all the measurements of the Earth, all the navigation of the Earth, all the aviation of the Earth, all this, even astronomy, except that the Earth is flat and stationary. What observations could they have? Does it have a geometric horizon in it? Well, all you're doing by focusing on these people is giving them a paycheck. That's all you're doing in the end of the day.
That's correct.
I'm sorry to tell you, but when QE is saying you're debating, why are you debating an objective topic? Yeah, what? Why are you trying to debate this with these people?
Well, it's a good question, and I can understand how you guys are tired of dealing with them and the same tactics. You guys have been going over it for years. I've stood on the sideline and observed it all. I've been watching for over almost a decade now in the Flat Earth movement. Nathan, I don't know if you were in quite before me, or I think I might have been in just a little bit before you.
A decade, and this is your answer.
But it was.
He's getting there.
I'm explaining to you guys.
He's explaining that
I've been observing how the debate topics have been going, and nobody will even come in here anymore.
Debate topics. That's our point.
They are the ones that made the claim that Earth is a sphere, and they created 12 observations, and that's just part one, right? That's the part one of three.
He just doesn't get it, does he?
Not yet, but I want you to. Right. No, he doesn't. You're right. I'm sorry. It is Ronnie, right? I've got your name right, first of all.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
Yeah, I want to gently coax you into an understanding in this, as opposed to QE's method of, oh my God, why aren't you understanding this? Because it's a genuine point that I hope you'll gain appreciation of. Now, I can tell, without being too rude, that you don't understand it, and that's perfectly fine. In terms of what's being communicated to you, it's the lack of acknowledgement that it's not debatable. You're just not saying those words, so you're getting lots of grumbles from people on the panel.
Okay, so you're saying I'm basically walking into a non-debatable debate set up for them to profit.
Kind of. Neil's attitude is you're enabling them, although he didn't use that word.
Correct.
So I liken it sort of to a bully. It's going around picking on everybody and stealing their lunch money. And when I see that bully, and I know that I can fix the problem. I want to step up and do that. That's how I'm viewing the debate
That's
opportunity.
a better answer. So there's a personal motivation against the scumbags that have treated us like crap for the last 10 years to put them in their place because they've been bullies for 10 years. And you want to set it straight, right? You want to turn that around.
Basically, but it's also the knowledge, the information. So when someone does the card trick and you can see, oh, he's palming the ace of hearts, you got to tell everybody this guy's palming the ace of hearts, right? That's basically it.
Just one sec. There's a problem with that.
That was over in 2016.
There's a further problem. You're talking about appealing to their audience and showing them that he's got a card up his sleeve, metaphorically speaking. Now, the problem is cognitive dissonance, which I'm sure you're well aware of as a thing, which is to say that when you show a cult member actual evidence of how they are wrong, the rest of the cult around them surrounds them and tells them to still believe. So you can show their audience that there's a card up his sleeve and they will literally turn around to you and tell you that there isn't while it's dangling out of his sleeve.
So it's more my objective or reason for it is actually to reach the people who are outside of both sides of the echo chambers, whether it be my own, where we talk that, reality itself isn't even physical. It's a virtual experience that we're in, right? Where they think that it's a big bang heliocentric cosmology. That's the third part of the debate. But I'm not trying to reach, I wish I knew his name, Michael Toon, Craig McNeil. I'm not trying to reach them in their audience. They've got some of the most disgusting, possessed cult members that I've ever seen. There's none that even come close to these groups.
His name is McBooger Eater. That's what his name is.
Eater, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean,
he's been filleted and fricasseed 5 years. There's plenty of videos on my channel. Why are you going to do it again? Yeah. It's already done.
Well, I haven't debated them. Now, I did go against Red's Retarded and Sean Double D Hufford. Does anyone know what happened to Sean Hufford?
You're bricked, man.
I asked in Red's, I got blocked.
The last I heard of Sean, he was embezzling money.
You're a brick. You're a brick, Holmes. Sorry. You're just bricked.
Bricked? What does that mean?
Go look up what that means.
Bricked.
You're focusing too much on... can I just say something to you, if you don't mind? You're focusing too much on people who've gotten way too much attention, people who don't have an argument to make, you're focusing on these people who've gotten way too much attention and literally have made a lifestyle out of it. And you're literally feeding into their lifestyle. It's like people just stop focusing on these people as much as possible. Now, I have to say, I have my hands up in the air. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I debated MC Toon sometime last year, I think it was, or earlier this year. Right? Now, it was under circumstances I didn't want to have to do it, but I did it. And I did it only because of what he said when he came back from Antarctica, right? Based off a video I made prior to him going down, to all of them going to Antarctica. The point is that I only did it for that reason because it was important for what I was pointing out before he went. Other than that, I wouldn't have debated the cut. What's happening is you have what they do, right? Let's just say MC Toon, maybe Red Rhetoric, Fight the Flat or whatever. If they do their best to trigger flat earthers into want to have any debates with them, and then the flat earther has a debate with them, and they have God knows how many people watching their live stream, giving them super chats, and you've got nobody watching your live stream because you probably don't even have subscribers because YouTube won't allow you to have them, and you're not getting hardly any super chats. So financially, they're winning and you're losing. They're going out to the bigger audience. YouTube and whatever other platform is making sure you hardly go out to anyone. All you're doing is one second, Neil. You're feeding the system that is looking to crush you.
So are you, Brian. You fed it 12 months ago, you scum.
No. Brian had a reason for doing that, and he held up flat measurements for us. All right, number one. Number two, I just want to know what the contention is.
Neil, Brian's addressed all of that to somebody.
You really want to answer?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I'm hoping you will, actually. It was you that was addressed it was all addressed to.
So, no, I completely understand both sides I do. I've seen the reason that these guys do it. It's about profit. It's about money. It's about super chats. It's about all this stuff to them. And no, I completely understand that. But for me, so I grew up doing mixed martial arts, and it was great to do the, you can do the moves, the blocks, you can go through the kumite, but there's at a point I got to get in the ring and fight these guys. So they go around saying that flat earthers can't explain these things like the South Pole, and we can't explain flight routes. And then, so nobody, it's just dead silence there. There's nobody that's coming up with other versions of reality that can actually stand up to them. Right. And that's one of the reasons why we want to debate.
Hang on a minute. What you're doing is you're trying to make up explanations for things that they claim to have an explanation for. All you have to do is show that what they're claiming is bullshit. You don't have to replace it at all.
If there's somebody here that lives south of the equator, they can see sigma octans in the sky. There's an observation that can be made, and they're saying, "Oh, that's because it's a sphere, right?"
No, what can be seen in the sky?
I don't think you can see that. They say you can see.
Well, yeah, it's a void region at 180 degrees south. But like I'm saying, so they'll say, oh, you can't put a map on the ground because Earth is a sphere. Every time you do it, it's distorted, right? Why is it that flight routes use the Haversine formula when they move to the south? There's all these different things. They come in here.
Whoa. Calm down. Number one, why is every map distorted?
Because they're trying to wrap flat maps around the globe.
Yeah, because the map they're trying to base the map on the globe, so every map is distorted because they keep on trying to. So we don't have a correct world map because they keep trying to place all maps on a globe. So the problem is that the Earth's not a globe, because if the Earth was a globe, the maps wouldn't be distorted. We wouldn't even need maps.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, what you said about flight routes. No, what did you say? Said they were not flight routes, but something else you said there. Oh, Haversine, right? Why did they use that? They don't use the Haversine to fly. No airplane uses the Haversine. The Haversine is used. The Haversine is used within their great circle routes, right? Only now and again. What they actually use is rumline distances. And why did they use rumline distances? Because the Haversine distance, the distances with great circle routes don't fit unless it's exactly north and exactly south, north to south and south to north. Right? It doesn't work unless it's north to south, south to north. Those routes don't work. Those Haversine great circle routes, they don't work unless it's exactly north to south and south to north. Right? And what they actually are is not circles but straight lines. What you'll be better off doing is actually learning these things. So in the future, with one of these bozos or someone connected to them comes up to you somewhere and tries to say, what about this thing? You can publicly put them down because you have the information. When they say that the Haversine formula is constantly used by airborne, it's not. That's not true. They're using rumline distances, not great circle route distances. The only time great circle route distances even match rumline distances is in very short distances. They don't match on big distances. So let me ask you this. It's actually just all...
They actually use coordinates, right?
Let me ask you this, right? How come the rumline distances are greater than the great circle route distances, and they have to use rumline distances, right, 90% of the time and more? How can the Earth be a globe if the rumline distances are greater than the distances possible on a globe, which would be great circle route distances? How is that possible?
That's a good question. So I completely agree with what you're saying. The getting into the pig sty with pigs, they're only going to out-pig you, right? Is what you're saying, basically. Why go into an argument and fight them on things that they've created, right? Which is, I agree with your point. Like, this is how they're able to go around and mocking and belittling, but when you actually can see through the disinformation. So one of the other big parts that I want to bring up is, so Craig McNeil's been going around saying that he has the information that proves the NTSB data is flying around a sphere, which is crazy because anyone that's ever flown out, it's just crazy. You guys have done a great job over here dealing with that NTSB data. I think it's one of the best flat earth arguments, how planes fly. I really do, because they're not dipping their noses. Their argument is, oh, well, the nose is up while landing. That all they have is just insane responses, right? So I'm excited because Craig is going to bring out, he apparently says he has the data that I'm looking for that shows that the planes are actually flying around a sphere, which is hilarious.
Well, I asked them, did they use this data? How is this data turned off then for takeoff and landing? For descent, sorry, not landing, but takeoff, descent, and landing. Like this star supposedly, you know what I mean? It's a joke.
Yeah, so
he doesn't have. Well, no, let me tell you something. Craig doesn't have what he's claiming to have. Craig is a lawyer. He's a bullshit. He doesn't care. He'll say whatever he needs to say, right, to get someone into a debate with him, so he can make money. He doesn't care. He doesn't have what he says he has, because what he says he has doesn't exist.
Craig's a professor of physics.
What they need him to do.
Craig's a professor of physics. They don't lie.
He keeps saying he's getting his legs cut off. All he's done is lie. I even have my mom's involved in this community. Her name's YD. She's a very active flat earther. You should have heard and seen the things that they said to her, and she was basically just questioning some of the things that they were, saying that weren't true. So you guys here, I've been waiting a long time, and I hope to join again. So the few things that I really, really like that you guys have done here is the NTSB data. It's very strong. Measurements of Earth on a local level being flat, that has to be one of the best concessions that I've ever heard. Who was it?
Flyman Dan.
Flyman Dan. I could not believe you guys were able to get them to admit that locally that Earth is flat. That for me is one of the biggest victories I've seen in the past decade.
They've been admitting it for years.
It's how Earth gets measured. The guy who opened before you was making it about groups. And I'm going to do the same with you, which is to say, who cares what it's perceived to be by Craig and his group, or even us? Yeah? How Earth does get measured will never change. When we're all dead and there are no groups to speak of, Earth will still be measured flat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the best arguments, if not the best argument I've heard. And again, the NTSB data, how planes fly. And then there's just like I had said before, we are willing to go further. So we want to understand how there is what seems to be two celestial poles. Well, it basically seems like we're in an environment where the luminaries in the sky rotate around each of us. I'm not saying we all have our own view. It's like we're in a collective virtual reality, and I'm trying to further my, understanding of it. That's what my passion is.
How can you make any argument about the sky? You have no connection to it whatsoever. Whatever is going on up there does not match anything in our terrestrial world. You can't make an argument.
Go out and film it, right? We've got drones, P1000s.
What does that mean? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Well, I'm measuring the observations, and it's amazing. If you get out a camera.
Yeah, it's good to look at it and everything, but you can't make a claim about it. All you're doing at that stage is the same thing as our opposition. Our opposition have done. They make claims about the sky they can't support, and I guarantee you can't support the claims you'll make about them. All you can do is show an observation and say, my explanation for that observation is, well, your explanation doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. You can't prove anything about the celestial bodies. Just because they make claims about them stupidly, right, and naively, doesn't mean we have to. The celestial bodies, nobody has ever found out anything about them. That's the truth. Not one thing has anyone found out about what they are, how they do what they do, anything. Not one person in the history of humanity. What does that tell you?
But they all measured them flat. Yeah. TFE, that is. They measured the angles to the sun.
That's using them as a measurement. That's not knowing about them. That's not knowing what they are, how to do what they do.
They didn't weigh it. No one's tasted it, smelled them. No one knows what the sun is made of. You're right, absolutely. No one knows what the stars are made of. They are the ones who come up with all the lies about that. Absolutely, well said.
But after they make the measurements, so for example, with TFE, they don't know what the sun is. But they do know how to measure a flat surface and make it part of an angle to the sun for 24 hours. That would be a flat Earth elevation angle measurement to the sun for a 24-hour period, regardless if they know what they're measuring. The surface they know, it's part of the angle that they measured. and they know it's flat, they measured it flat when they measured the angle to the sun. Now, if they want to deny that, they can deny their own measurements, but it doesn't change what their measurements are. They're flat Earth elevation angles to the sun for 24 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And they made some huge mistakes too. First off, they were trying to prove that there was a South Pole, and they didn't even go there. Second off, they can't even explain why there isn't a tilt to the 24-hour sun at the North and South Pole. It's supposed to be on a 23.5 degree tilt. So, Brian, I do agree. I like your approach. I'm going to keep watching all your channels here, you guys. I hope that you keep making content. We're looking forward to the book and moving forward, you know, more information coming out, more. Again, I just want to get into the ring. I want to spar with these guys. I want to punch them back and watch how they squirm.
That's the answer. Yeah. That's the honest answer, right? It's not to communicate it to a wider audience. You want to have a fight with them. Now, I totally get that. Yeah. And I can empathize. It's going to weird out a few people. I can empathize that more than you saying you want to communicate it to their audience or a wider audience or get the message out. Nah. They're just pricks, and you want to give them a bloody nose. That's the reality, and I can get behind that more.
They might have their answers, but I'm going to make sure that I punch them in the mouth as hard as I can, at least once. At least once. That's all I want to do.
Dead.
I can't relate to that.
I can. Yeah, I can. After being
no, it depends on how he comes.
Years.
He's got to come strictly with measurements. Otherwise, you're going to make a fool out of everybody.
I did that for 8 years. You glue sniffers.
Yeah, I know. Someone else.
Nah, it's going to be pretty concise. We're not going in there just haphazardly, you guys. Every single thing I say will be logged, chat boxed. Everything is going to be typed out. It's going to be fun. Make sure you guys tune in.
Hold on. I can't say one thing. Do not let them skip past step one, because that's what they always do. Do not hold them to that.
Right, Ronnie.
But that Earth is measured flat? No, they have to admit that. Yeah, absolutely. That's step one.
Well, they measured it. Right, do you want to do some plugs? Do you plugs for your channel and stuff?
Yeah, well, you can find us. I've been kicked off YouTube. I got kicked off about, 4 years ago. But we do podcasts on Awake Souls YouTube channel. You can find us there. Most of the audience here knows. You guys have heard of us. Jason from Awake Souls, Laufenberg, and I'm Ronnie Harris from the Limitless channel. And I also do a Rise and Grind weekly show. I go through the news and I bring out like 9 brand new songs in multiple styles, genres every Sunday on Rumble. And that's the Limitless channel. Thanks for having me on. Like I said, it's good to talk to you, Nathan. It's been like 7 years.
Easily. Cool. Well, in the meantime, thank you for that. Yeah, and obviously, hopefully one of the mods will put some links to the channels, Awake Souls channel, so they can see you actually broadcasting on YouTube, in spite of the fact that you've been kicked off, which is unfortunate. But we're going to hear a bit of Simon Dan to round out this live show, and then I'm going to ask anybody who's watching on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams to stay tuned. All clear. Earth's flat. We checked. That's how it's measured.
You don't only measure Earth flat.
Measured flat. There's no way I'd be getting away with it if it wasn't the case. Everybody would be casting me down, but they're not. What are they doing? Well, Dan's agreeing with me. Simon Dan. It's not only measured flat.
On a local scale where curvature is negligible, 50 kilometres is nowhere near far enough to start using spherical trigonometry. Now, you mentioned surveys. And yes, local land surveys use flat approximation for convenience.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat. I think there was actually some super chats I didn't read out from Roger Ledwell. Virtual sky claims make it worse on flat Earth. Maybe. And then Roger Ledwell sent out a gift for 1 membership. So thank you very much indeed, Roger Ledwell. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley. Massive thank you to Discord and G+, and I'll see you all in the next video. watching. Please share the show if you haven't done so already.